Welcome to another episode of Morning Mojo with me, your host Shane Solomon, and joining me on the sofa this morning we have the wonderful Jason Flinter. Welcome to our set.
Thank you ever so much, Shane.
It's great to have you on the microphone.
It's fantastic to be here.
And rocking the shirt, by the way. I'm liking that.
Well, do you know what? I saw you with your skull shirt.
Oh, yes.
And I've got exactly the same
have
shirt.
You really?
And I thought, no, I thought I'll tone mine down because I knew you were going to have a slightly louder shirt than me.
Oh, bless you.
You're the host. I shouldn't steal your thunder, should I?
You're close to it. I'm not going to lie to you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be able to see, of course. If you're listening on Spotify, then you won't. But let me tell you, he's wearing a fantastic shirt. So lots to talk about. I know I'm going to certainly run over time with you.
Okay.
There's no question. We've just had a quick chat before we started recording. Just for our listeners, for our viewers, just explain who Jason is, you know.
Okay. Well, Jason, this guy here is a 59-year-old branding consultant. And I've been doing that, running my own business along with my wife and sometimes son as well. We tend to breed our employees rather than employ them.
I love that.
And so we've been doing that 28 years now. Yeah, we started in 1996. Is that 20 years? And so we're a branding agency. We usually come up with company names to begin with, then the company logo, and a company strapline. And before that, we've looked at the whole branding strategy, what the companies want to do, how different they are to their competition, where they want to position themselves in the market, and then us to really go, right, okay, so what do you stand for? What's your promise going to be to your customers? Why are you any different? Most of the time they're not. We sell coffee. Okay, so do 27 others in the same road. So what are you going to do? So it's quite, it's a lengthy journey to really focus them and really work out what their proposition is and why they're different. And if they're not, make the branding and the identity and the messaging as different as we possibly can.
Okay, and the power of brand, I mean, it's huge. I know how important it is. We get a lot of people watching these podcasts that I know starting out in business, and they're like, oh, can't afford it at the moment, things like that. But Can you afford not to, right? I remember when I started my first business and I went to a networking event, I met a designer there, and whatever he said in his 60-second elevator pitch got me because I then found the money to get him to come up with these designs and stuff for my first logo.
Good.
And that kind of set me on my way of knowing the value of branding and the power of it.
Yeah.
And it is a professional service, and this is the thing. And you would hear this all the time where people will come up to you and say, well, I've got a friend who's just been designing me a logo on Microsoft Publisher or Canva or all these things. It's like, it's not quite right. Well, no, it's unlikely to be right. But how do we get people to see that value? If they don't already see it, because sometimes I want to shout at them and say, look, come on, go and see Jason here, go and see these people here, How do you educate them?
It is, well, you're right. Obviously the first thing I'd say would be to buy my book on branding.
Good job.
So rather than go to a branding agency and spend 3, 5, 10 grand, spend $9.99 and I'll give you all my 25 years of experience. So do that first.
Great.
But I think the main, I don't know if you're allowed to swear in this podcast, probably not.
Tone it down.
There is a my first chapter is there's 6 cornerstones of something that rhymes with rap.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those things are what stop people doing it properly in the first place. Money being a key issue. Not knowing how much to care. I start off with saying people don't care. That's because they don't know. So It's the kind of unconscious incompetence. If you don't know what you don't know, then it's not really your fault. So there are many other things. Technology is another thing, is that people think they can do anything on their phone, so they just do these days. I mean, in the 50s and 60s, you always went to a professional to get your advertising and marketing and branding done. Now you just do it yourself for some reason. But I've always said to I work locally, mainly Bristol, but slightly a bit further in the southwest. And obviously everyone starts off small, day one, just themselves, usually. And they often sort of go, look, we don't know how it's going to go. We're just going to try something and see if it works. Now, personally, I don't think that's a strategy for a business. So they have the same attitude with the logo. Well, we'll just do something, and if it doesn't work, then we haven't spent too much money. And I don't quite understand that as a business plan. It's good. Yeah, they tend not to care too much about it. But yeah, there are huge successful businesses out there, and just because you're on day one, you're not. I know you're not Virgin Atlantic or you're not Microsoft. Doesn't mean to say you won't be. So again, my attitude would be, I think people say, to be successful, you kind of act successful. Slightly punch above your weight, not too much, but enough to get away with it. So it's like just look at what all the big brands do. They have a proper name that's easy to remember. It's quite small. It's easy to tell someone about it. It's memorable. It's recallable. The logos are quite distinctive. They have a really strong strap line. Whether it's McDonald's going, I'm loving it, or whether it's Tesco's Never Really Helps, or whether it's Nike with just do it. It's like, that's how you do it. Now, you can do that on day one. And okay, you might be just opening a veg shop around the corner, but you don't have to act small. And you can see how the proper brands do it. So just do what they do. Just because you're not them, it doesn't mean you can't act like them. And I think small businesses start off very tentatively, and to come up with a name and a logo and a strapline doesn't cost that much.
Sure.
And also, I guess, you mentioned you saw the value of it from when your very first time round.
Excuse me. Yeah,
that's okay. But I would say the main, if you haven't got something that's memorable, then how are your customers going to remember you? If you're not distinctive, how distinctive names, distinctive logo, distinctive brand identity, distinctive colors, then I always wonder. So why would you go under the radar? Why would you do the same as everybody else?
Indeed.
I've worked out why. And with most human psychology, if if I work with several, say the tradespeople, whether it's gas, electric, plastering, they would look out and see what do all the other people do. Well, they usually call themselves by their own name, and they're usually initials. So CLN plastering. Mm-hmm. You go, okay. So at the moment, you've told me you do plastering, but the CLN doesn't tell me anything. So why would you do that? Well, it's because you've seen everyone else doing it.
That's right.
So if the vast majority are doing this, then that's what I should be doing. I would say if the vast majority are doing that, then do the opposite.
Correct.
So again, to the likes of us and any people in marketing or creative, we seem to know that. And if you point it out to your customers, they will know it, but there'll still be say, well, but what if it's not the right thing to do? I better lessen my risk and just do what everyone else is doing. The same with colouring. I have lots of companies, especially in the wealth management sectors. They go, well, or mortgages or whatever. They go, well, it looks like everyone in our market has a blue logo.
Yes.
So we better have a blue one.
Yeah.
I'm going, how about a pink one or an orange one that will stand out? Because often you might be going to an exhibition with all the same competitors, and you're all going to look the same. Why? Right. You'll go into a trade magazine and you'll advertise of all your competitors, and you all look the same. So to you and me, it's obvious. So I had to get round and going, okay, I'm not going to tell you you're stupid. I understand why you think like you do. Can I show examples of how standing out from the crowd will benefit you? Creativity will benefit you. Creativity will win every time.
Sure.
Just allow me to help you with that. And the thing we also pride ourselves on is being able to trademark all our work, or enable our customers to be able to trademark them if they want to. So they get an R in a circle next to their logo and the name. And again, that adds massive value to their business, especially if they have an extra strategy to sell it. So they've got a protected extra value thing to sell. A few businesses come to us for that. So we need an extra strategy. We need to increase the value of our business. What do? I go, well, you're going to have, rather than call you FLS couriers, let's make you stand out a bit, to make you more attractive, to make your awareness stronger, and let's get a name that we can trademark. And even better for franchising. We work with 4 franchises across the country at the moment, and we've made sure that in order to sell your license to your new franchisees, to increase the cost of that license, is let's have a brand that they can buy into, and it shows it's protected. And we get 3 or 4, I would say, inquiries a year. It doesn't sound much, but of people come to us who have been asked to cease and desist because they've gone the cheap route. They've spent, a couple of thousand, but now they've got to spend 30,000 in court.
Yeah.
So just do it properly in the first place. Like you say, how can you afford not to do it properly? And those sort of things come up way more often than you would imagine.
Sure. Now, I want to ask, what inspired you to get into business on your own in the first place? Why not just go and work a job like everyone else?
Well, that's relatively. I think there's 2 answers to that. One might be. I know this podcast is all about being inspirational, or motivation. I think I was very clearly motivated to start my own business because having talked to many other business owners, you either go to business because it seems like a good thing to do, or your boss was a complete, and you go, I'm not taking this anymore. I can do this better than you're forcing me to do it. I don't have to work 15, 18 hours a day. When you run your own business, you do, but at least you do it for yourself. So I don't have to take this from you anymore. I'm going to do it myself. So I guess I was more motivated to get out. So I was the creative director of a company, and we had about, I think, 43 employees in Bristol and Swindon. I couldn't take it much more. The hours were just way too long. The tension in the marriage was just like not right. I was offered a great opportunity, and so I thought, okay. I mean, when I was on a good wage in '96. I was on 42 grand.
Crikey, that's a lot back then. It's
a
lot
back
now.
then, yeah. And so we lost that overnight. So again, the great motivator for that is, okay, I still got a mortgage and food to put on the table. So I had to find the work. So those sort of things are, for me, are good motivators. I'm not sure I was inspired to do that, more motivated to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you're doing well now?
Well, 28 years later, I guess we're doing something right.
Correct.
So like any company out there who has gone through from 90s through to now, we've gone through some big bombardments from government and banks to try and stop us in our tracks. Keeping small and flexible has definitely been an advantage, because you can move and pivot quite quickly. You can move from Waitrose to Lidl's over a weekend, and cut down. And so that's I think, we stayed small and compact. I haven't needed to spend lots on overheads because I truly believe that people are paying me for what's in here. And like we were saying earlier, people design their logos on Canva or whatever, and people have asked me in the past, so what do you design your logos on? You're going, my brain. I don't need huge amounts of other things to create logos or branding or anything like that. I just need this kind of weird brain that's more divergent than most other people's brains.
Sure.
And that's kind of what's kept us ahead, I think.
Sure. So what about kind of books and that? Do you read books? Do you do any kind of, because you come across fully educated and everything.
Really? So quickly?
And personal development, this guy has got this nailed to a T. Do you do any kind of personal development? Have you done any personal development? Do you read things, listen to things, watch things? Or are you just naturally gifted to be, Jason?
Well, that's weird. It's weird to ask that question, only because I haven't managed to be able to read like conventional people can. Because of dyslexia, and part of that dyslexia is really bad comprehension skills. I haven't got English O level. That's how old I am. Because I could not. I got extra English lessons. I cannot. I couldn't. The school system thinks I'm thick,
Hmm.
or I was at 16.
Sure, no, I get you.
And I was 16 in 1979 or something like that, 1978, 1980 possibly. So since then we found out I'm dyslexic, so those sort of things have really held me back, and I could never read, or I couldn't retain information. So we all have different learning styles, whether it's visually, audibly, kinesthetically. So I'm a very visual person. So that's the only way I can learn. It's like, show me, don't tell me, show me. So I actually wrote my book before I read any books.
Okay.
Weirdly, and at the same time, so I would say when my father passed, it was 2015. He gave me. I was allowed to have all his books, and that's books with like Stephen Hawking. I mean, he had the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, with notes, vast notes in red all over the Bible, like underlined, like with question marks. So I mean, he questioned everything. It's the one thing he taught me: question everything.
Yes.
Don't believe anything you hear, and only half what you see.
Okay.
I've been guided by that all my life,
Yeah.
and questioned everything all my life. So he had books on. I mean, he ran a philosophy club in his 70s. And so I got all that from him, and now I started to read his books. And what I realized, that what I can't read is stories, fiction, because you need there's a plot, and you need to remember what happened on the previous page. So I'll be reading it and going, and then Dave entered the room, and I'm going, who's Dave? Well, he was introduced on the last page. So with facts, they're given to you almost a paragraph at a time, and you don't have to relate it to anything else. So suddenly I worked out I could read factual information. So I've just rattled through these philosophy books, and then thought, right, that's fantastic. And then at the time, well, it was 2020. I thought, well, as I got nothing to do, I did apparently for 3 weeks at the time, just to flatten the curve. 2 years later, I was able to write my own book. So that was a fantastic time to do that. But reading. So mainly, I do read at the moment. Things that kind of intrigue me, but they have to be factual stuff, and podcasts. So we mentioned podcasts in terms of I like a good 3-hour, 2-hour podcast. So it'll be like Diary of the CEO, or Joe Rogan, or a Modern Wisdom of Chris Williams. These are like, just again, it's just huge amounts of philosophy.
That's right, yeah.
Looking at life.
Yeah. So, what is your philosophy on life then? What's it all about?
Ooh.
There we go. There's a question. that could just extend our podcast to 3 hours.
It could. My wife's going, oh God, don't open your mouth, Jason.
Yeah. What is it all about?
Well, I've been told I'm an optimistic nihilist.
Okay.
I have what I've been told, a strange view, only in as much as again, whether it's how my brain's wired or I don't know, but I can easily separate myself from thinking we're important. I think that's what's guided me. Hopefully, it guided me. It might not guide most people, but it's constantly looking at the universe, and looking at pictures, especially from the latest telescopic pictures we get sent, is just how incredibly small and insignificant we are.
Absolutely.
In the whole universe is infinite, and yet is getting bigger. So the infiniteness is getting bigger as well, which is like, that doesn't make sense. So it's like, so trying not to put so much importance on everything, because so I just stand back from it a little bit and going, it's not that important. no one, no one remembered me before I was born. No one's going to know me after I'm dead. So I kind of take that perspective a lot. I know we all have to, we have to, I don't know, think about being sustainable and all those sort of things, which, great to some people, that's a great thing to think about. But I look a bit deeper and this, we've been here again, depending on your beliefs, whether you've been here 6,000 years, depending on some religions, or 13.9 billion years on scientific reasoning. Whatever it is, I'm more about the 13 billion years, or they recently said it's more like 26, but that's irrelevant. both are too big to think about. Numbers. It's like, so my 80 years, or 81.2 years, or whatever it is going to be, I think I've worked out it's about 0.0000015% my life compared to the planet's life or the universe's life. It's like, it's nothing. And then, another thing that's stuck in my head is like we're shocked at a plastic bag will take 400 years or 5 years to degrade. You're going, well, over 13.9 billion years, the planet doesn't care. It's gone like that. And plus the fact it came from the planet. All the ingredients that made the plastic bag came from the planet. And it's going back in again. So it's like, I'm not going to worry about that too much.
Sure.
I know that sounds controversial, but that's
absolutely.
That's how I look at life, really.
But it's your mind, it's what you think, and this is what
that's what I think.
You get people thinking, and people think that's interesting.
I recycle plastic like everybody else because I'm told to.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll toe the line at some level.
Yeah.
but question everything at the same time, and that's all I do. I just go, well, I know you're telling me to do that, but here's a few questions.
Sure.
Just to make sure that I agree with you.
So one thing that you are is obviously successful in your field, in your industry, but you've also built up a very good kind of contact list as well, people that you know. How important is it to you to be networked, to have people in your close network that can assist not only you, but people around you?
It's almost the number one thing that's created the success of our business. And also, it helps my customers. So the fact that I can, because we're a small business and I haven't employed all these services that I need, I've built partnerships and networks with all these services I need. So if I need printing or exhibition or extra video work or whatever it needs to be, websites, photographers, videographers. Yes, I have managed to build up a whole network of really strong, trusted people. We both belong to a very strong network. I belong to, I would say, a more structured network before that for a good 20 years. And that, I can't compare, but I would say it absolutely made our business. If I hadn't done it, I'd have to go for a different universe, parallel universe, to find out whether I would have been any different without it. I'm guessing I wouldn't. And it's something I even was so clearly committed to, the idea of networking, but not the way that I would say. When you start networking, you kind of think, well, I better hit the room as quick as I can, introduce myself. Well, I say pass your business cards. People don't do that anymore. Scan my LinkedIn profile as many people as possible. And then say, right, well, use me. That's what, I guess, certainly when I started, that's what everyone thought networking was.
Correct.
But it took me maybe a couple of years to work out that my only job for whatever event I turn up to is to see who I can help. And that's it. I've got a list of 1,000 people in my pocket. So I trusted, out of the trusted people in there, let's say, I'd say 20, 30 people, 20, 30, 40 people that I can absolutely trust, like that. And it's a case of how do I help someone in this room as well as helping the people on my phone? So if I can help connect that person with a trusted person that I know, I've helped 2 people. Every one interaction, I've helped 2 people. And that's just been it. And my other belief in the universe is that what goes around comes around. So if I help as many people as possible, okay, they're not, the vast majority of them are not going to help me because I've worked that out, but enough will. And I've never marketed myself in as much as, done an advert in a magazine or like that. That's my marketing, is to help people, make a good impression, add some value at the event, and hopefully they'll go, oh, that's a nice bloke. If somehow in the future someone needs something help from me, hopefully they'll remember me. And that's been the tactic for 25 years.
Well, it's a very similar. It's identical to mine.
Great.
So the more you help people, reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Those sort of come. And it works really well for me. And that's what I say to people, because you see the new people coming into the networking space, and they do exactly what you just said. Back in those days where you just literally just spamming everyone, basically.
Pretty much live spamming. Yes.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. It's not about. It's about building relations.
Yeah.
And to be fair, this podcast all came about that. Of course, I wanted to, connect people that are new, but it just helps me. It's like having a meeting, but recording the meeting too.
Right. Okay.
You see, so I thought, and this is a great way. I've got a wonderful facility here. Jay's a great producer too. So I thought, well, why not? We've got the facility.
Okay.
Let's find out more about people, give something genuinely. And then, in, a year's time, something like that, someone might say, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. Well, pop down to Shane's. He's got a lovely little setup down there.
Yeah.
And it's just that. So it gets people coming through here. I get to understand about my guests more. So when I'm talking to other people and they need help connecting, it's an easier way of doing it.
Yeah.
So what are your kind of hobbies then? So when you're not working, you're not designing branding and, being a guru in that sector, what do you do to relax?
Well, the other huge part of my life is music.
We are very similar. It's freaking me out.
Well, I've seen your 2 guitars. I was itching to play them back in.
You was more than welcome.
Okay, right. So yeah, when I left my job and I said I got to get out of here, my big opportunity was to score a film.
Wow.
So my life started as writing music for film and TV. So that's with the training of graphic design, that's what my degree's in. But at that leaving, having been a creative director of a graphics company, the opportunity was, do you want to write a score for a film? So I went, yes. So that was a massive motivation to leave.
Yes.
So I've been doing that. I did that, early 90s through to mid 2000s, I guess. And that branched into lots of things. I did run a team building business with African drumming. So I did that for the education sector and the corporate sector. So music's always been a huge part of my life. And since 2003, I've been also writing songs with many, many people. One girl in particular, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. So she's my writing partner. And we're at the moment writing on our 7th album. And this year we've now got having been writing together for 20 years, just us 2, we've now doubled the size of our band. So we've now got a bass player, Dig, and our drummer, Simon. And we've got our first 2 gigs in May and June.
Amazing.
So that's. But I've been collaborating with loads of writers for all those years as well.
So how do we hear your stuff? What are we searching for?
Well, the duo, the writing partner is called Alpaz, Alpaz. So it's alpaz.co.uk. All our albums are on Spotify and iTunes and all that sort of stuff. So you can find them there.
I'll be checking that right out as soon as we finish this podcast.
Okay, fine, yeah. But yeah, I've written for other people, so I still get PRS royalties coming in.
Yeah.
There's another guy I wrote 5 songs or co-wrote 5 songs.
Yes.
On his last
Any
album.
particular genre? What's your favorite genre to write?
I'm a bit of a rock freak. By myself, I got my own out. I did in that 2020. I did my own solo album as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mainly singer-songwriter, folky, poppy stuff.
Nice. We're going to chat after this. We're going to chat after
Yeah,
this.
yeah. That's what I've mainly done with Lisa. So yeah, I wrote some songs for a guy called James Hollingsworth, who's constantly touring the UK, and that's bringing in royalties because he plays that, so that's good. Yeah, so yeah, music's a huge part of my life. And recently I've restarted sketching.
Okay.
So I do a lot of sketches as well. So we just been to Port Isaac this morning. So I just sketched Port Isaac this morning.
Interesting. Fantastic.
And recently we just been to Plymouth as well. So we just did that as well. So yeah, do a lot of that as well.
Well, what a pleasure. To be honest with you, Jason, I knew this podcast was going to go on longer than 20 minutes. But I just want to say a huge thank you because you've given up your time to come here. So thank you so much
That's not a
for
problem.
coming down
Thank you for having
and
me.
recording this with me. So what's the best way for people to keep in touch with you? What do you have a best way of people contacting you? An email man, phone, socials? What do you prefer?
Well, I'm a face-to-face person, but I mean, if you, emails, which is, which you can find on our website. So it's just we're the Flint, THEFLINT and .co.uk. So it should be quite easy to find. We're on there. The email's on there. So jason@theflint.co.uk. Yeah, get in touch. And also, we're, and I really want to help anybody. As you know, with your partnerships, our job is just to help as ambassadors.
Sure.
So,
well, you're a huge ambassador. And Brock said to me, I told him, he said to me, so I think you got Jason down today. So yeah, that's right. But, we appreciate all the thing you...
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love that. And I've always, again, if there's an opportunity for me to help, then that's part of my strategies to get work. So, if anyone wants any advice on branding, then please buy my book. No, give me a call.
Definitely buy his
Give me a call.
Well, there we go. Another whistle-stop tour of someone's expertise, knowledge, their brain power in this wonderful podcast that we call Morning Mojo. My thanks there to Jason for joining me today. As always, thank you to you for listening, for watching, for sharing, liking, and loving the videos and podcasts that we produce. My thanks, as always, to Jay Kennett for producing today. But for myself and my wonderful guests today, Jason, we'll see you very soon. Make sure you buy the book and follow this guy.
From Bland to Brand on Amazon.
There you go. See? And download the album.
Yeah,
all of them. Yeah, let's get him some more royalties. He's wasting away here. Anyway, thank you very much. Have the most amazing remainder of your day.
Cheers.
See you soon. Cheers. Thank you.